It only takes one. Michelle Weger.
The biggest mistake I ever made was adopting a huge dog who was afraid of plastic bags. The second biggest was thinking that was the worst part. His name was Maximus, a Great Dane with the confidence of a mouse and the emotional range of a Shakespearean actor. I adopted him in my early 20s, when frankly, I had no business adopting anything larger than a plant. But I said yes, because I've always had a soft spot for lost causes, and Max was spectacularly lost. The day I brought him home, he barked at everything. People, cars, empty garbage bins. Once, a man in a bow tie triggered a full-scale meltdown. I used to walk him with 2 leashes, one in my hand and one around my waist. That way, if I fell down, he would drag my whole body down the street rather than just the leash. I don't recommend that, by the way. I was terrified I had made a terrible mistake. Sound familiar? Inside the house, though, he was different. Loyal, gentle, sweet, my shadow with paws. One day, Max did something strange. I was standing in the kitchen, foggy, struggling to stay awake. He grabbed my arm and gently pulled me to the ground. It kept happening. Years later, I was diagnosed with narcolepsy, and I finally understood. Max had been sensing the moment I was going to fall asleep and making me sit down before I fell down. He self-selected to be my service dog. There was just one small problem. He was still terrified of everything, which makes service dog work tricky. You can't have a dog that lunges at plastic flamingos guiding you through life. We trained for years, we worked through fear, we learned to trust, and finally we faced his greatest nemesis, dog photos. No, not real dogs. Photos, pictures, packages. You see, if it had a dog face on it, Max thought it was a real dog, engaged in a never-ending staring contest. He was too scared to sniff, and without sniffing, how could he know? So we taught him to use his nose. And one day, in a quiet pet store, we faced his greatest kryptonite. The dog food aisle. Max looked, sniffed, and walked on. I cried, because that is real progress. It's not dramatic, not overnight, earned, step by step, sniff by sniff. Max was 7 years old when he became a working service dog. He wasn't perfect, but he had purpose, and I believed in him. But Great Danes, they don't live forever. And I knew Max wouldn't always be with me, but I needed him. Falling asleep in public, it isn't just embarrassing, it's dangerous, especially for a woman. That's when this little one entered the picture. A Great Dane puppy named Quinn. And Max was suddenly back to walking with 2 leashes, one in my hand and one clipped to his protege. And because Quinn was trained by Max, the underdog, she skipped straight to Superdog. Max is gone now, but his legacy is tied to her leash, and his spirit lives on. Max was so lost when I met him. Honestly, so was I. But here's the truth. It only takes one person to believe in you, to lead you from lost to legendary. Because when someone believes in you, you start to believe too. And then even the most unlikely underdog can become someone's hero.